Hello. So today, this is a continuation of my attacks on Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who, is a lovely bloke. He's very well spoken, handsome. He's a former UN bureaucrat. He may have made some money this way or that way. So what? And he's written a lot of books. He seems a nice guy, but sadly, he's not a nice guy at all. Even though he said very nice things about Modi and about this and about that, he's probably, somebody, if he'd helped me when I asked him for help, I'd be very grateful to him. But he didn't. So there's personal animus. But that personal animus, what it comes down to is this, is that he looks like one thing, but he isn't that thing. He looks like a patrician, St. Stephen's alumni who's a big man, that you go to him and you say, look, there's this problem, can you help me? And it's the right thing for to maintain the prestige of your of your people and do the right thing. And he won't. He's not interested in that. And but he is. He has some very capable people working for him. And of course, India is India. And now we have the internet. And it's free to. It's basically very cheap to get in touch with anybody. And when you find out that behind the scenes, that the reason that his machinery has worked, and the reason that he's been re-elected, and the reason that he has his position in Kerala, well, it has nothing to do with how he sounds and what he appears to represent. So there's this complete dichotomy. In fact, there is a schizoid split that what he's doing in Project Syndicate and what he's doing when he publishes these, and I must tell you, they're worthless books. They are worthless. But so is, with Samir Saran, he's written, an utterly worthless book, which says, oh, India could really play a huge role in foreign policy now. Whereas it is obvious that the reverse is the case. So he's a silly man, but we've had silly men, and he's a self-publicist, and that's all right. We've always had that. The way he presents himself as being the champion of a certain class of Indians, that's also bullshit. So, but okay, in Kerala, in certain narrow terms, we know how. He's an open secret. He would make a couple of phone calls. Yes, I could pull his strings, but there's no point pulling his strings because his hands aren't attached to any level of power. He's a gobshite, he's a blathershite, he's useless. Which was not necessarily the case. Even 6 years ago, 7 years ago, he looked as though he could be somebody that people like me, he could be our go-to guy. And if he had been our go-to guy, well, there's a lot of money which should come to Congress. There's a lot of support that they'd have gotten. But he doesn't really care. And the purpose of his Project Syndicate and other articles and his incessant and incontinent shitting out of books. He shits out a book a year. What is the point of it? Well, he does make a bit of money out of it. But it's not what you... there are better things you can do with your time if you're an MP. And so he really, to my mind, he has become a liability to to the Indian National Congress, to the dynasty that he serves. And let me explain why. The fact is that, you see, filial piety was a big feature of why the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty got established. You say Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, he liked Mahatma Gandhi, he was prepared to go to jail, but he's very close to his father, Motilal Nehru, and then ultimately the son won over the father, and the father also went to jail, and everybody in the family went to jail. And this is why Mahatma Gandhi said that Motilal Nehru, his love for India came from his love for his son. And, Jawaharlal Nehru he just would keep going to jail. And everybody in his family kept going to jail. And Indira Gandhi went to jail, and she was actually treated very badly. This is, and the other thing is that the entire, the call, the Kashmiri Brahmins, you'll be hard-pressed to find one who wasn't decent and self-sacrificing and all very intelligent, like Sapru. And let's face it, it was Sapru who determined what would happen. Kashmir Brahmin, Sapru is the crucial person from the Indian point of view. But again and again, he keeps trying to get Mahatma Gandhi in 1921 to see reason but he fails. Sapru fails with the Indians, but he succeeds with the British, because you see, he believed that the goal must be achieved, and it was achieved. And so Tej Bahadur Sapru is still, there is still a Sapru house. And it is this aspect of the Kashmiri Brahmins, I do respect them. But let's also speak of Tharoor's Nayar's community. What a fantastic contribution they've made to India. The saying was, to get anything done in New Delhi, you have to run from Pillai to Pillai. Pillai, Menons, Nayars, fantastic people. Excellent. They want to get things done. They work hard. And Tharoor benefits from that clubbish or cliquish, not cliquish, I'd say clubbish, the clannish aspect of the Malayalam. Sadly, and there are very high expectations of him, and sadly has turned out to be quite useless. Why? Well, let me go back to the story about Jawaharlal Nehru and his filial piety towards his father, then Indira Gandhi's filial piety towards her father, and so on. The fact is that the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty has showed always filial piety. The daughter doesn't rebel against the father. If one son is preferred, if Sanjay Gandhi is the heir apparent, Rajiv Gandhi doesn't make problems, but then Sanjay Gandhi died. And now we see, what is really extraordinary about Rajiv Gandhi was the way that he was identified with Lord Ram. And Lord Ram is completely monogamous. And you have the beautiful Sonia, and she is completely monogamous. There's absolutely, you can try, you can search anywhere on the internet, you can go here, you can go there. There is not a whisper against her. If Rajiv Gandhi he actually looked like Lord Ram. It's a fact. I'm sorry to say this. The guy, he had beautiful eyes. His eyes were like this. And Tharoor, by the way, is very handsome as well. But you see, you can say that Rajiv Gandhi, whether he had lived Hinduism or not, I don't know. His father was Parsi, his grandfather was an atheist, but his grandmother was a true Hindu who chose celibacy. She told her husband, Kamala Nehru, said, look, I decided to be celibate in 1935. She died shortly afterwards. So, Ramakrishna Mission, and her daughter Indra was deeply religious. But you see, and of course, there's all sorts of scandal attached to her name. There is zero. I've looked for it. You can look for it. You won't find it. The fact is that Sonia Gandhi was widowed at an age when she, of course, she can get remarried. Of course, and her health. She had asthma. Delhi is the worst place if you have asthma. She, on medical advice, she should have left the country just to prolong her life, because she owes it to her children, to her grandchildren, to stay alive. She should have left, but she didn't. So this is Sita. And that is why when you have Sonia Gandhi, this is Hinduism. It doesn't matter what her religion is, whether it's a Rishta Deva or a Kula Devam, it doesn't matter. She is performing, the dharma of the widow. She is absolutely a Pati Vrata lady. So that was her. What about Rahul and Priyanka? Why are they not fighting? I mean, look at Sri Lanka. Mrs. Bandar Naik, she became Prime Minister before Indira. Then her daughter is fighting with her, and in any other of the dynastic families, brother and sister are fighting, cousins are fighting. Not in INC. So that is Hinduism. That's why that is the Hindu aspect of INC. And now you have this bloody witless bladashite who is accused. He is on bail on a charge of abatement of suicide against, in relation to Sunanda Pushkar, who incidentally, Sunanda Pushkar is a Kashmiri Brahmin. The Nehrus are Kashmiri Brahmins. And whereas the Nayars would be classed as Shudras, though, of course, essentially they're Kshatriya. So Kshatriya, they are ruling, dominant. You see, those Nayars who were who were sitting on thrones, they were Kshatriyas. But the remainder were outside the threefold division. They were Shudras. Which is a good thing, because now we're all Shudras. Because, we are crossing the Black Water and going to England and America and China. We're all Shudras. Good. That's fine. Essence of Hinduism is Shudra Hinduism. No problem about that, because you see, the caste system and all that had its origin in pathogen avoidance. That, India, especially the hotter parts of it, you have high pathogen load. So it's like COVID. You want to keep a distance from people, and that's all the caste system is. And of course, the endogamy within a jati, you also have endogamy, but that's a very good solution to what in economics is called the stable marriage problem. That and that's why 95% of marriages in Islam and Christianity, anything in India, is arranged, because it just works better. The stable marriage problem. Look it up. It's it's game theoretic. Robert Oman won a Nobel Prize for explaining the importance of public signals in correlated equilibrium, and why correlated equilibria are always better than Nash equilibrium. In fact, Oman says, or other people have said, that the more natural way to think of game theory is the Oman approach. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting away from the topic. And the topic is that Tharoor, like Rajiv Gandhi, he's got big eyes, he looks like Lord Ram, but what happens to his Sita? What happens to Sunanda Pushkar? It's not good. Then he writes a book saying why I am a Hindu. And there's only one reason to be a Hindu. What is that reason? It is because even if you have failed in your duty, you got married, and there is a vow. Marriage is a sacrament. Like Ram and Sita, it's not about sex and sweat equity and making money. No, no, no. Marriage is that you look after each other, you preserve each other, you look after, if you have previous children from other marriages, it is cherishing each other. In the artha, what is the meaning of marriage? It's kalyanam, mutual welfare. But what happened? Tharoor says, no, we were fixing up our house, so we were staying in 5-star hotel. And then, I don't know, she mixed up her pills. But, this is horrible. This is horrible. This is not Hinduism. Now, if Tharoor had started his book saying, why I am a Hindu, I'll tell you why I am a Hindu. Because there is prayashchitam in Hinduism. I'm a sinner. I'm bad. I've done things wrong. I'm a Hindu because I understand the prayashchitam, the expiation rituals of Hinduism. It involves this fast and that fast, and you do this. And it's in my own language, I can understand it. Maybe I will do it, maybe I won't do it. Because maybe I'll say, sod it, I don't care, I'll go to hell because I'm shit. But why you're a Hindu is because you find when you've done wrong, when your wife is dead, and it's partly your fault, or wholly your fault, or you feel guilt, or a child is dead. It is because you have a structure. You have a structure which is intersubjective, which is protocol bound, which is, you can go through all the motions and say, no, I've done all the prayashchitam, I've done all the expiation, but there's some way deeper. You can find a preceptor, and this is bereavement. And this worthless blethershite, Shashi Tharoor, who is on bail for abatement of suicide to his wife. And, she had gained so-called sweat equity. She had gained a lot of money. Because he had the influence as a minister to swing things in a particular way. And he marries her, and now he's on bail. She died, now he's on bail. This fucking cretin, this worthless piece of shit, he said in the Oxford University debate, he said, I belong to the Henry VIII style of public speaking. Henry VIII used to say to his wives, I won't keep you long. You kill them. What the fuck is wrong with him? How fucked in the head is he if a guy representing Hindu India goes to the former imperial colonizing power, he stands there in Oxford, and he says, me, I'm Hindu. What I like doing is killing my wives. Oh, have you read? Then you can go and Google it. Do Hindu men actually kill their wives? According to Indian law. You see, you have very stringent anti-dowry laws, and you have an offense of abatement of suicide of women so as to grab their money. So you Google it and you find out. This fucking ape Shashi Tharoor, Dr. Shashi Tharoor. I belong to the Henry VIII style of public speaking. I don't keep my wives long. Check it out. Google it, Google it, Google it. I didn't keep Sananda Pushkar long at all, did I? Oh, in those sweet equity, do you know how much that was? It was millions. Oh, I got my hands on millions. Very smart am I. He's boasting, about killing his wife, Henry VIII. What did he do? He killed his wives. See, I belong to the Henry VIII School of Public Speaking. How stupid is this guy if he's innocent? Or how cynical is he if he's guilty? But in either case, he is disastrous for the International Congress. I said that I would speak of the Gnostic element in Tharoor's version of Hinduism. And very briefly, what Tharoor is saying is something, of course, which students of English literature in the late 19th century, or early years of the 20th century, they would know that there was a feature that people like Malatesta, Ezra Pound's Malatesta, Browning's Renaissance, bravos, and people who kept murdering their wives, Bluebeards. You see, the Bluebeard, the guy who keeps killing his wives, would subscribe to a Neoplatonic, a Gnostic doctrine. Because he would say, well, it doesn't matter how badly my hands are stained with the blood of my wives or my relatives, because there is an alchemy going on. My soul is being divinized. This is theosis, and this is as absurd a belief as alchemy. And of course there were kings and aristocrats who would believe in alchemy, and they'd believe that, yes, by this special process, I and I alone, my soul will become God, even though I keep fucking killing my wives. And I'm worthless shit. It doesn't matter, because, there is this alchemy. There is this Gnostic formula. And, the problem with speaking out against Tharoor is that the man is so fucking stupid. There really is no plan to it. This is a UN bureaucrat, most worthless type of parasite in the world, and then he became a parasite on the Congress Party, and people from Kerala keep voting for him. Well done. We probably want to kill Kashmiri Pandits. Or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you're just stupid. No, seriously, I think the reason that people from Kerala vote for Shashi Tharoor is because his Gnostic soul has turned into Paramatma. Yes. By the way, 10 years ago, the communist chief minister, he launched a diatribe against love jihad. He should have warned Kashmiri girls against marrying a bloody Tharoor. Anyway, both Kashmir and Kerala, they are great countries, and Hinduism will always thrive where there is family values, where husband protects the wife, wife protects the husband, brother and sister are together. And I'll tell you one thing, so long as Indian National Congress, Priyanka supports Rahul and both support their mother, that's good. That's family values, that's filial piety. But with the Tharoor, really, they must get rid of Mani Shankar Iyer, Tharoor, and this type of nonsense people. Otherwise, you know, finish. There will be no bloody Indian National Congress, and that will be tragedy. Because Indians, we want choice. It's economics, pure economics. Where there is choice, there is competition, and without competition, we're all screwed. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.